Mishle or Proverbs 13. A wise son accepts his father's discipline, but a scoffer shall not listen to rebuke. From the fruit of the mouth a man eats the good, but the desire of the treacherous is for violence. He who watches over his mouth guards his being, but he who opens wide his lips comes to ruin. The being of the lazy one craves, but has not, while the being of the hard workers are enriched. A righteous one hates a lying word, but a wrong man is loathsome and comes to shame. Righteousness watches over him who is perfect in the way, but wrongness overthrows the sinner. There is one who makes himself rich, yet has none at all, and one who makes himself poor and has great riches. The ransom of a man's life is his riches, but the poor does not hear rebuke. The light of the righteous rejoices, but the lamp of the wrong is put out. By pride comes only strife, but wisdom is with those who take advice. Wealth from vanity diminishes, but he who gathers by hand increases. Expectancy drawn out makes the heart sick, but a longing come true is a tree of life. He who despises the word is destroyed, but he who fears the command is rewarded. The Torah of the wise is a fountain of life, turning one away from the snares of death. Good understanding gains favor, but the way of the treacherous is hard. Everyone with insight acts with knowledge, but a fool spreads folly. A messenger that is wrong falls into evil, but a trustworthy envoy is a healing. Poverty and shame are for him who ignores discipline, but he who heeds reproof is esteemed. A desire accomplished is sweet to the being, but to turn away from evil is an abomination to fools. He who walks with the wise shall be wise, but the companion of fools suffers evil. Evil pursues sinners, but good is repaid to the righteous. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, but the wealth of the sinner is stored up for the righteous. Much food is in the tillable ground of the poor, but lack of right ruling sweeps it away. He who spares his rod hates his son, but he who loves him seeks him with discipline. The righteous eats to the satisfying of his being, but the stomach of the wrong is lacking. Chapter 14. Every wise woman has built her house, but the foolish breaks it down with her own hands. He who walks in his straightness fears Yehovah, but he whose ways are crooked despises him. In the mouth of a fool is a rod of pride, but the lips of the wise guard them. Where there are no oxen, the crib is clean, but from the strength of an ox comes much increase. A trustworthy witness does not lie, but a false witness breathes out lies. A scoffer shall seek wisdom but find none, but knowledge is swift to him who has understanding. Leave the presence of a foolish man, for you shall not perceive the lips of knowledge. The wisdom of the clever is to understand his way, but the folly of fools is deceit. Fools scoff at guilt, but among the straight there is delight. The heart knows its own bitterness, and no stranger shares its joy. The house of the wrong is destroyed, but the tent of the straight flourishes. There is a way which seems right to a man, but in the end is the way of death. Even in laughter, the heart is in pain, and the end of that joy is heaviness. The backslider in heart is satisfied with his own ways, but a good man is satisfied from his. The simple believes every word, but the clever one watches his step. The wise fears and turns away from evil, but a fool rushes on and is reckless. He who is impatient acts foolishly, and a man who plans wickedness is hated. The simple shall inherit folly, but the clever are crowned with knowledge. The evil ones shall bow before the good, and the wrong ones at the gate of the righteous. The poor is hated, even by his own neighbor, but the rich has many friends. He who despises his neighbor sins, but he who shows favor to the poor, oh, blessed is he. Do not those who plan evil go astray? But loving commitment and truth are to those who plan good. In all labor there is profit. Talk of the lips leads only to poverty. The crown of the wise is their wealth. The folly of fools is their folly. A true witness saves lives, but he who breathes out lies is a betrayer. In the fear of Yehovah is strong trust, and his children have a place of refuge. The fear of Yehovah is a fountain of life to turn away from the snares of death. In a multitude of people is a sovereign splendor, but in the lack of people is the ruin of a prince. He who is patient has great understanding, but he who is short of spirit exalts folly. A healthy heart is life to the body, but envy is rottenness to the bones. He who oppresses the poor reproaches his maker, but he who esteems him shows favor to the needy. By his own evil doing, the wrong is thrust down, but the righteous has a refuge in his death. Wisdom rests in the heart of him who has understanding, and even among fools it becomes known. Righteousness exalts a nation, and loving commitment to the peoples is sin. The sovereign's delight is toward a wise servant, but his wrath is towards him who causes shame. Chapter 15. A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up displeasure. The tongue of the wise makes knowledge good, but the mouth of fools pours out foolishness. The eyes of Yehovah are in every place, watching the evil and the good. A healing tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness in it crushes the spirit. A fool despises his father's discipline, but he who heeds reproof is clever. The household of the righteous is a great treasure, but the income of the wrong is trouble. The lips of the wise scatter knowledge, but the heart of fools is not so. The slaughtering of the wrong ones is an abomination to Yehovah, but the prayer of the straight is his delight. The way of the wrong one is an abomination to Yehovah, but he loves him who pursues righteousness. Discipline is grievous to him who forsakes the way. He who hates reproof dies. Sheol and destruction are before Yehovah. How much more the hearts of the sons of men? The scoffer does not love his reprover, nor does he go to the wise. A glad heart makes a good face, but by sorrow of the heart a spirit is stricken. The heart of the understanding one seeks knowledge, but the mouth of fools feeds on folly. All the days of the afflicted are evil, but gladness of heart is a continual feast. Better is little with the fear of Yehovah than great treasure with trouble. Better is a meal of vegetables where love is than a fatted calf with hatred. A man of wrath stirs up strife, but he who is patient appeases strife. The way of a lazy one is like a hedge of thorns, but the way of the straight is a highway. A wise son makes a father glad, but a foolish man despises his mother. Folly is joy to one lacking heart, but a man of understanding walks straight. Without counsel, plans go wrong, but by great counselors they are established. A man has joy by the answer of his mouth, and how good is a word spoken in its season. A path of life is upward for the wise, to turn away from Sheol below. Yehovah tears down the house of the proud, and he sets up the boundary of the widow. Evil thoughts are an abomination to Yehovah, but pleasant words are clean. He who's greedy for gain troubles his own house, but he who hates bribes lives. The heart of the righteous ponders how to answer, but the mouth of the wrong one pours out evil. Yehovah is far from the wrong ones, but he hears the prayer of the righteous. The light of the eyes rejoices the heart. A good report gives marrow to the bones. An ear that hears the reproof of life does dwell among the wise. He who ignores discipline hates himself, but he who listens to reproof gets understanding. The fear of Yehovah is the discipline of wisdom, and before esteem is humility.